Happy Sunday morning, folks. Welcome to Grant and Brother Bob. That's Brother Bob. I'm Grant. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the draft today. There was an excellent article in The Athletic by Matt Barrows. Shout out to Matt Barrows, where he interviewed former 49ers general manager and Washington general manager Scott McCloughan. So we're going to talk about his take on the Niners draft. But first, we're going to talk about people we think are going to get cut. So stick around for that. If you're on the 49ers and you're worried about, am I going to make this team? We'll let you know. Edwards, though, he was Ricky Pearsall's coach for 3 years at Arizona State. Didn't play him a whole lot. Likes him, though. Thinks he's really good. But has some interesting things to say about him. What'd you find most interesting about Herm Edwards' scouting report of his former player?
First of all, good morning, Grant. Good morning, everyone in the chat, my fellow Niner fans. You know what I found really interesting? And this was something that a lot of people said. Herm Edwards made it a point to talk about hands. Made it a point to talk about, can Ricky P or Slick Rick beat man press because of the hands in the NFL? And a lot of people talked about that. And that's my concern too.
This was on Rob Sascarero's podcast. Shout out to Rob.
Right.
Yeah.
But seriously. So that's a big thing for me because he was on Rob's podcast. You're right. And stats, I don't always agree with him, but that was a good interview. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a big concern for me, Grant, because that means to me, this is why a lot of people slide at Ricky at the slot position, and why I think that you're going to have to put him in motion a lot, similar to what we do with Deebo to get him open. But I thought that was really telling because Herm Edwards was pretty adamant about that too.
Yeah. When they drafted Pearsall, my first reaction was, oh, they drafted him to replace Aiyuk. But they're different. Like Aiyuk he can play X, because to play X, you have to be able to beat press. You're on the line of scrimmage. You don't have that yard buffer. You can't go in motion. So you got to have all those different releases. You got to have finesse like a basketball player, but you also have to be strong, which Brandon Aiyuk has both of those things. Pearsall doesn't, according to his former coach. So when you look into that, the Niners must have known that. It looks more like he's here to replace either Jennings or Deebo. And I guess if he can actually run a go route and threaten defenses with his speed, he might be able to play Z. He ran a 4.41, but no one really thinks he plays like that. So I guess we'll have to see. If not, he'll be more of a slot receiver. And frankly, with Brock Purdy as the quarterback, you're not taking them any deep shots anyway.
So, okay, I did not like the pick in the first round, but I do think that pick is for the future. So I got to give Kyle Levy a little credit for trying to retool on the go, similar to what KC is doing. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think he's not gonna replace Aiyuk at all. I just don't see him having that qualities as of now. He was, if I'm not mistaken, a 5th-year senior. So I think that's what made him look really good this past season in Florida. But yeah, I think that he's going to take about a good year to get some strength to help him beat some of that press man coverage when he does face it, either in a slot or on the outside. I think that his intelligence, which is another big thing that Herm Edwards is big about, as well as his toughness. He just made it seem like, again, that we got a great football player. So I think it'll be about a good year or so. I am interested to see, though, this year, who he takes snaps from, assuming everyone is still on the team. And I don't foresee us trading anyone. Maybe Jennings, since he apparently hasn't signed his tender. But who do you think he takes snaps from, assuming that our main guys are still there in mini camp and training camp?
And they're healthy?
Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah, and they're healthy.
None of them.
Who?
I'm sorry. Not on this team. You're a rookie. You got to wait your turn. So, but here's the thing. Deebo gets hurt a lot. He gets hurt in games. Like he'll miss half of a game, 3/4 of a game. He did it in the playoffs. That's how Pearsall will play. Because I think we saw it last year. When Deebo would get hurt during a game, the Niners offense would completely fall apart. And Kyle would talk about, well, he's a specific piece and it's kind of hard to replace what he does for our game plan. And once he leaves, I have to change my entire game plan. It's like, okay, well, if that's how he feels, then I think maybe it's kind of hard to compare Pearsall to Deebo because they're so different. But I think Kyle's hoping that maybe Pearsall could fill in for Deebo when Deebo's not in there. Do some
Wait a
of this.
minute. Does he really change his game plan? What game was that when Deebo went out and then he had Jennings run the same type of backfield play that Deebo would run? I mean, I don't know. Look, I just want, hold on. Listen, I'm going to start every show that I'm on with this. Listen, NFL gods, please give Kyle Levy a little brain when we're in the big game, okay, to make the right decisions. Because look, he doesn't do it. He doesn't change. He doesn't adapt. And that's my concern. But I do think he can take a couple of snaps from some receivers. You don't think Pearsall take some snaps?
I don't think he's going to be playing X. Maybe he'll split some time with Jennings, although Jennings is in a contract year and he's pretty good. I just feel like Pearsall, I think it's about Deebo, man. I think they gave Deebo all the targets he could handle in the Super Bowl to see, are you worth this contract? Can you be a game changer? And the answer was no. And the reason he couldn't come through is because not only is he not a good route runner, but he doesn't catch the ball reliably. And it seems like those are the two things that Pearsall does the best. He runs good routes and he catches the ball reliably. So it seems like in that sense, he's sort of like the no to Deebo's yes. Like what they don't like about Deebo is this, what they like about this guy. Doesn't mean he'll be better than Deebo, but you can sort of tell what skill set they're looking for.
You know what else? I don't think I did a little scouting, obviously. By a little, I mean by a lot, and that's just remotely. But I don't recall Pearsall being injured much in college, especially the last 3 years. So I think that's a big plus. But here's what I'm hoping. As a fan for many years, too many years, 40 plus years, I'm hopeful that this will motivate Deebo. I mean, he must know that this is probably his last year, right? Because we heard the reports how he himself said he was assured that he would be on this team this year. So I hope that he uses this as motivation to show what he can do. He may be showing for playing for his next contract with a new team, or at least showing everyone on this team that he's worth it as captain and as the head honcho that he wants to be or purports himself to be on this team. So I'm hopeful that this pick will give him some incentive to be in shape, to not take plays off, and to give it his all, So I think that's one of the probably the best things about this draft pick in the first round, if you ask me.
I agree. I mean, I think this is putting Deebo on notice. Like, he was at his best in his contract year when he had something to prove. Well, now you got something to prove again, Deebo. Like, they singled you out as someone who didn't get it done. They gave you the opportunity in the Super Bowl. They drafted your eventual replacement. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to play 60% of the snaps and let Pearsall just sort of cut into your production? Or are you going to have a 2021 season again and staple Pearsall to the bench? What are you going to do? Maybe this is what he needs. Maybe he needs some motivation.
Right. And as us Gen X, or at least I'm Gen X, it's time to shape up or ship out. All right. This is it. And I like Deebo. Don't get me wrong. There's no one as electrifying in the NFL right now as Deebo once he gets the balls in his hand. And that's the issue. Getting him the ball in his hand, preferably on the move, so that he can break tackles and take it to the house. But I think the problem is, like you said, a lot of times he's not healthy. And a lot of times he's not playing 100%.
That's, to me, he's kind of like Armstead, younger, but even when he's on the field, I'm just talking about in terms of injuries. Even when he's on the field, he's injured a lot of the time. That was the issue in the playoffs. He was not healthy. And maybe that's part of the reason he caught 3 of 11 targets and got completely shut out in the Super Bowl, because he wasn't really healthy. Neither was Kittle.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing with Kyle Levy. See, like, your players are dinged up, right? And it seems like he focused a little bit of that game plan on Jennings. Okay, then. Well, you see Deebo is not healthy or not 100% himself. Then go to Aiyuk. Pivot. Don't just be stuck on stupid. Don't double down on dumbness. Sorry. See, help me. I need the guys to help me, because I really want to win a Super Bowl this year. And I think this team's window, honestly, is closing. This is it. I really think this is it as far as the nucleus of this team.
Matt McCloughan has been a member for 9 months. Thank you very much, Matt. And he asks, can Pearsall play center? He can do it all, Matt. What can't he do? Dave Barclay says, what up, Grant and Brother Bob? Beautiful Sunday morning. All the guys in the chat. Gotta love that we can talk about the Niners when they're not playing. Goat Ryan is in the chat. Keep up the good work, guys. What's up, Goat Ryan? Goat Dave.
Ryan, Dave.
Jesse Wade, what if Kyle is evolving? What if he has decided to run more 3 wide receiver sets and use his quarterback to his strengths? I think Slick Rick and Cowing both say that. Let's address that. Bonus topic. Is Kyle Shanahan evolving? Will the Niners use more 3 wide receiver sets this year?
Well, you know what? I think one of the big things that would be nice to see, but we'll know right away, because one of the issues I have with Kyle, and granted, Kyle knows more football than I will ever know, right? But if you ever notice, a lot of his 3 receivers and even 4 receiver sets, they're all bunched up together. Like they're not. I prefer spread them out, and I think with Purdy, as our quarterback, that would help him a lot. Not only with reading the possible defense that he's going to be getting, but also getting a quick passes out if they're going to be passes, and even helping with the long developing plays. But when everyone's bunched in, that allows the defense to kind of bunch in too, and it masks some things. But I would love to see a change in scheme a little bit if Kyle Levy's evolving, as he said.
The reason they use those tight splits is for a couple of reasons. One, they want those wide receivers to be in position to block on run plays because it's a run first team. And then 2, it's a good spot to line up to run deep crossing routes. It's tough to get all the way across the field from way out wide. So it's all about run and play action, right? You want to be able to block. You want to be able to run crossing routes on play action. Great. But if you really want to spread them out and pass more, then you do that. And I just don't see it, Jesse. I don't think he changes. I don't think he evolves. I don't think he looks at himself and says, I could have done better. There's something I could do differently. I don't think he's that kind of a person fundamentally. Have you ever met someone who really can't look at themselves honestly? Incapable. And it's not because they really truly think they're the greatest of all time. They have a deep, deep insecurity that they can't even touch. And I'm not saying I don't know him that well, but I've met people like that. And to me, Kyle has shown traits of a guy who cannot truly look at himself in the mirror.
Yeah, one of my former or soon-to-be former work partners was like that. Huge insecurity issue, but he likes to report himself off the greatest. So
never his fault.
Never his fault.
Always
someone else's fault. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, those kind of people are exhausting.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they typically never really rise to the top, and that's what holds them back. But again, this is why I'm really hoping that he does kind of change. Let's go back to that question. Here's my thing. You don't have to make that the fundamental offensive, change, but just add it in, incorporate it so it keeps the defenses off kilter. They don't know, like, oh, this is different. This is not the usual Kyle Shanahan type offense. So plays like that, you incorporate those, it will force defense to kind of step back and be a second or 2 slower, and allows your guys to get open. Also, the guys far wide don't have to be the ones that are typically the first and second. You can have the guys on the inside being first and second, or the guys on the inside being primarily the big time blockers. There's so many ways to do this. And my untrained eye has picked up on this after 40 years of watching football. You just don't want to do the same thing over and over again because it makes it easier to scout it. So I like what Jesse Wade is saying here. I just don't know if Kyle Levy can get that he should adapt a little, just a little.
I mean, McVay uses a lot of 3 wide receiver sets, but it's just the thing about using 3 receiver sets is it really limits the blocking combinations you can do in the run game, which is like, who cares, right? If you have a great quarterback and great receivers, your run game is just a change up anyway. But you know who cares? Kyle Levy. You know who cares? His dad. They're all about their run game. And as long as Kyle Juszczyk is on the team, I have a tough time seeing the Niners doing a lot of 3 wide receiver stuff on 1st and 10 in the first quarter. If they're winning, if it's close, that's just not how Kyle Shanahan calls the game. And all of a sudden he's going to become Andy Reid. I'll believe it when I see it. And if he does, I'll praise him.
You said something very poignant there. The difference is Mike Shanahan won Super Bowls. The difference is Mike Shanahan didn't freeze up in the most crucial moments.
That's true.
And Mike Shanahan knew how to adapt. I remember watching Mike Shanahan when he was a offensive coordinator for us. But Kyle Levy just hasn't quite got that. I hope he does while he's our coach because I really want to see us win a Super Bowl. I was so pro Kyle Levy, well, when he was Kyle Shanahan. But when I learned that what he does in those crucial moments, it's hard for me to be a homer and be like 100% in on him personally when I've seen these things. And I don't want to get us too sidetracked, but you mentioned Juice. Why is Juice still on this team? Like, Juice, you're a nice guy. I don't know, but you seem like a nice guy. You go to all the shows, or, all the events, and Kittle seems to love you. So did Sam Darnold. But I mean,
why is he still on the team? Because Kyle doesn't want to change his scheme. He needs a fullback because that's what his scheme. That's the playbook. He's had it since 2017.
Okay, but Super Bowl when he came out, all right, I was like, all right, he's going to use Juice. A couple plays, and that's it. Yep. Goodbye, Juice. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
We can go on and on about
it. It seems to me that if you want to get your 5 best weapons on the field, it ain't Juice.
Right.
Jennings is so much more dangerous, and I guess we'll see what Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing have to offer. Speaking of them, let's get into what Scott McCloughan said. Again, this was an article in The Athletic by Matt Barrows. Shout out to Matt Barrows. This is really well done. He interviews Scott McCloughan every year. I've interviewed Scott McCloughan before. He is so candid. He does not care that he's on the record. He tells what he thinks, which is great because no one's going to be right 100% of the time. And I don't want people in the chat to be like, well, McCloughan did this or McCloughan did that. Like everyone misses. This dude has the courage to give his opinions on the record before anything plays out and to put himself on the line. And his track record, at least in these articles that Barrows has put together last few years, Niners draft recaps with McCloughan have been impressive. So what he said about the wide receivers, he didn't say anything bad about Pearsall. He was just much more enthusiastic about Jacob Cowing. He seemed to say that Jacob Cowing is a really, really good player, electric, and that Ricky Pearsall is good, but he preferred Ladd McConkey at that spot. What do you think of McCloughan's take on the wide receivers?
Unfortunately, I have to agree with him as far as Pearsall. I didn't know much about Colin at first. I didn't have an opportunity to look at much of his tape, but his tape looks phenomenal. He did mention about his size and thinking that Colin would be more of a third slot receiver, but a ton of speed. I actually am looking forward to seeing him maybe on special teams too. The thing though in that same article that I noted that Scotty said it was about Deebo, and Scott said that Deebo was a gadget player, and he specifically mentioned about end arounds, screens.
He said he was just a slot guy, but essentially he was right about what he is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to receivers, you got to give him credit. He nailed it with Deebo. He nailed it with Aiyuk too.
Pettis. So, he called it with Pettis too. He's like, he plays small.
He did call it with Pettis.
Yeah.
Surprised Pettis still in NFL, right?
I know.
But you know what? As a fan, all I'm hopeful of is that in 2024 that both Pearsall and Collins get some PT. I don't want to see them sitting either in the doghouse or not have the ability to grow, because I see them, again, as I said earlier, as more of the future. I think Collins could actually be a big benefit currently, or this coming season on special teams. And I just would love to see when you guys go to camp, and hopefully I can make training camp this year, look to see what they have him as far as the pecking order at receiver. But he's got a lot of speed, and I think his speed shows up on the film in college. So I like seeing that. Pearsall has a lot of toughness, and that definitely shows up too. But I'm looking forward to that position battle.
I'm curious to know what Pearsall does better than Cowing. I know he's bigger than Cowing. Is he faster than Cowing? No. Is he a better route runner than Cowing? We'll see. We'll see about that. But all I know is that they're both fifth-year seniors. They both played 5 years in college, and Cowing was just much more productive. And when you mentioned that like Pearsall wasn't super productive in college, people always mention like they make excuses, well, his quarterback, this or that. Like Cowan played at UTEP in Arizona. And in this last year, he had 13 touchdown catches. You know how many Pearsall had?
Was it 6?
4.
4. Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not the most important stat. 4 touchdown catches in a season from a first-round pick. Name me another wide receiver who got drafted in round 1 who had 4 touchdown catches in their final season. I'm sure you could find one, but it just seems weird. What was the issue? And how come Cowan could produce and you couldn't?
Well, look, I don't want to crap on Pearsall because I'm not saying you're doing that.
I'm curious.
Just saying,
yeah.
I'm hopeful. I keep saying that word because it's important to me as a fan. I think, let's be honest, I think Kyle wanted Pearsall and probably chose Pearsall because he's polished and could pick up Kyle's system. Everything about this team is system. How will you fit in Kyle's system? So I think that's why. I definitely think that Collins can end up being way more explosive and possibly way more productive than Pearsall. But look at it. Nothing against Lance, but look at Lance versus Purdy, right? So we seem to double down and draft sometimes, take multiple players at the same position just to make sure that we hit on one. And maybe that's what this is all about.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting. Once again, the one that seems intriguing is the second one they drafted. He's 5'8", but I don't really care that he's 5'8". It seems like he plays big. He's tough. Tank Dell's 5'8" for the Texans. It doesn't really, and also Ricky Pearsall, he's 6'1". He's got really short arms. So I wonder what kind of catch radius does he have? I mean, he's tough, but he's 180 something pounds and he has short arms. Like, frankly, you know who he's built like? Me. Kyle said he compared him to himself, but it's more like me.
Well, yeah, that was weird to hear Kyle say that. Again, and I'm not trying to, I know some fans are going to say we're hating. I'm sorry, Kyle Levy, you didn't make it in college football, really, right? And you definitely didn't play in the NFL. So how are you comparing yourself to an actual player in college? Like, it just seems that was so weird.
I know he's trying to be like tongue in cheek, but at the same time, I think he talks a little bit too much about his playing days. Like, you played at Texas because the coach owed your dad a favor. Like, that's the only reason you got a scholarship. You weren't a college athlete, but I think he thinks he was. I don't know. Likes to think he was.
See, that's what scares me. Literally, that's what scares me as a fan. It's not about you, Kyle. Please understand that. It's about the team. It's about this SF that's on your shoulder, your chest, Kyle. So anyway, I can go on and on about this because literally, as I told you before, I sat and watched him lose a Super Bowl and was just scratching my head like, what are you doing? Why are you not running with Mostert? But anyway, I don't want to relive that because it's very painful. Okay, PTSD. Anyway, no, but I'm looking forward to seeing Collins. I really want to see. I want mini camp and training camp to start now. You're going to mini camp, all right? Did they open it up to you guys?
Yeah, rookie mini camp's going to be this week.
Okay, so you'll be there.
I'll be there.
All right, perfect. That's what I like to hear. I want to hear your thoughts about Collins versus Pearsall seeing mini camp.
Me too. And the thing that's cool about the wide receivers in rookie mini camp is like, you should see it right away. I know there's no pads on and stuff, but it's like, that's an issue for the offensive linemen, the defensive linemen, the running backs, the linebackers. For wide receivers and DBs, you can see it right away. Can you get open? Do you catch passes in the practice? And one thing that McCloughan said in this article, which I thought was cool, he says Cowing is going to tear up rookie minicamp. He's going to tear up OTAs. He's going to look great in 7-on-7. It's like, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see. And you know what? That should be the expectation for Ricky Pearsall too. Like, you're 24 almost. Let's see it.
And do me a favor, Grant. I know you're going to be called a hater, but just report on it as you have been objectively. Don't just, Pearsall's the greatest because he was the first round pick. I just want to.
And I won't look to this crush him either if he has like one drop. I'll try to be as fair as possible. I know everyone thinks I'm out to, I don't like him or something because I do like him. I just didn't like the pick. All right. McCloughan also spoke about the second round pick, Renardo Green. said he liked him a lot, and said what he thought was intriguing about Renardo is that he seems to have not just the athleticism, but the toughness to play in the slot. That's a big one with the Niners. It's like, it's not just can you cover the guy in the slot, can you defend the run? Because once the ball is handed off, essentially you're a linebacker in terms of what gap you're filling in your run fit. Can you handle that? And he said Green can. Green calls himself a dog. I compared him to Jimmy Ward. He's got a little bit of Diamador Lenore in him too. Lenore is tough like that. So I think it's interesting that they got themselves another inside, outside, versatile cornerback. What do you think of that?
Oh, okay. So just let me say it. My favorite picks of the draft was Green and another defensive D-back. Okay. Mustafa. I love this Green pick. Now, I think, again, from what the film I saw, he can be handsy. He can have something that looks like he may be a penalty machine, but you can probably teach that out of him. What I like about it is by him being handsy, that's the same exact thing that Herman Edwards, was talking about Pearsall. That's how NFL corners play. They're going to get up, they're going to jam you, they're going to keep their hands on you for that 5 yards that they can, knock you off your route, knock off the timing. I love that about Green. I would love to also see Green get some PT at safety. I really think that he has some speed to play safety. I know Mustafa's there, but I want to get the best defensive backfield that we can. So for 2024, this upcoming season, if everyone's healthy with Mooney Ward on the outside, Lenore, Diamador, with him, Lenore on the outside, and maybe I'm talking about again, minicamp, training camp, mixing Green in at the nickel as well as a little bit of safety. I would love to see it. I want to see competition and get the best players, especially on defense, out in the field. I don't think we're going to see much competition on offense, but I love this pick. I gave this draft, Grant, a B, and it's because of these 3 picks commencing in the second round.
I liked about the Green pick is it seems to be an indication of growth and evolution for the 49ers on defense. Again, they hadn't drafted a corner this high since 2004, which to me is just a great example of them sort of falling behind the times in certain areas. Look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. A big reason they won is they had Trent McDuffie, a slot corner, a nickel corner they drafted in round 1, and he shut down Deebo. And the ability to play press man coverage from the slot was a game changer for the Chiefs. Well, instead of complaining about it and saying, "Oh, he held," or they got the Niners. They didn't get a guy in round 1. I would have liked that as opposed to Ricky Pearsall. There's no rule against drafting a DB in round 1. Niners didn't go. They weren't that adventurous, but they did it in round 2, and it's a guy who can play in the slot, which I think is almost becoming a prerequisite for corners these days. All the good wide receivers line up in the slot. You got to be able to line up in the slot too. And he can.
Yeah, he definitely can. And he has speed. Green has that 4.49 speed. I mean, that's good for a corner. I think it's great. He's
especially
got good size too. Yeah, especially in the slot. He's got good size too. He's 5'11". And I think at his pro day he was actually 191 pounds. I don't know how it's different than his combine numbers, but yeah, no, I think it's good. And he'll put his nose in there. He's not afraid to tackle. I think he likes tackling. So, I like this pick a lot. This is, what? The only thing concerned me about defense, and we'll talk about this later perhaps, but it's just the run game. But I think Green can help with the run game. Same with Mustafa. I think they can come up and close any holes that may be there. But I foresee Green being probably one of the early contributors, especially if he can get time in at nickel and or safety. I don't know if he'll get much time at outside because we brought in some free agents too.
I just think it's too bad that it's probably going to take an injury for him to get on the field. Knowing Kyle Levy, he could be the best, the best option to be the number 3 corner, but it's going to be Isaac Guerendo or Ambry Thomas, or they'll get there eventually, but it'll take a lot of trial and error before they figure it out. But they knew that Brock Purdy was the best quarterback on the team after a week of practice. They just wanted to, troll the entire league by playing other quarterbacks for fun.
Yeah,
That's what they do.
just so silly,
It's
But,
generosity, really. It's charity.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to start the better guy. Screw our season.
We're too good. It's not fun. Keep it competitive.
And a lot of homers eat that up. Like, see, they knew, right?
They knew.
But I think on defense, we'll see. I think it's a little different on defense. I think we might see at least during training camp, you got to see what these guys have, right? Mm-hmm. And I think mini camp, like you said, there's no pads, there's no contact. So you'll be able to see the fundamentals of these corners and DBs in general. So hopefully, at least move on from Andrew Thomas. I mean, I think we've seen enough of him. He has some flashes at times, but I think he's best at man press, and it looks like going back over films, I get the all 22, and he's out there that giving a lot of cushion. That means they don't trust him. And then we've seen times where he's in position but just can't make a play. But let's infuse these guys on defense, especially, including Green. Get him in, get some PT.
One thing I'm interested to see with Green, in college, he did a good job against Malik Neighbors, some first round picks, including Ricky Pearsall. So in rookie minicamp, I would think that Green would be like the starting left cornerback, like Travarius Ward, and Ricky Pearsall would be the starting Z, like Deebo Samuel, and they'd get to go against each other, and we get to watch a great matchup. I want to see that.
Oh, I would love to see that. But
I want to see
this is what I like about Green, going back to his numbers. The guy had 148 tackles. He's not afraid to get in there and get some contact, make contact with people. I mean, I just love it. He was second team all ACC. I think we got a player here. I really like this pick a lot. This is one, like I said, one of the reasons why it's a B, in my opinion.
All right, hold on. I was just putting an extra topic for later. Let's pause real quick and for our sponsor, bet you. Ooh. Sleeper picks. Sleeper picks. Hold on. Boom. There it is. And then now we're ready. Hold on. There it is. Okay. So the game today is already going on. So we can't get any action on Orlando, Cleveland, but tomorrow, Indiana Knicks. I like watching the Knicks this year. They're a lot of fun. Jalen Brunson's really good. And then Minnesota, Denver. I like watching Anthony Edwards this year. He's really good. So why don't we make some picks on them? Brunson.
Let's do it.
34.5 points. You think he can get more than that? Brunson. I mean, he's too good.
He's good. It's funny. And he start off missing shots and not looking good, but then he always ends up with a lot of points, it seems, at the end. What's the number on 32?
34.5. He's gone over 40 3 games in a row, and the one before that he had 39.
Yeah, I think you gotta go over this. This game's in New York, right?
And if he doesn't score, who else scores on this team? Brunson. Okay. Let's DiVincenzo. I kind of like DiVincenzo. He used to be with the Warriors. I got his haircut.
3 machine.
Halliburton.
Yeah.
Halliburton, 17.5 points for Halliburton. What do you think?
Oh, that's over. I think that's over.
You think that's over?
Yeah.
Okay, more.
I do.
Okay. Let's go to the other game. Anthony Edwards and Jokic, and then we'll call it. Anthony Edwards, 29.5 points.
The Joker. No, Anthony. Okay.
Edwards.
I think you got to go
come back down to earth
too.
Is he going to come back down to earth today? No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
He's feeling himself.
Okay, Jokic. Hold on. Let's see what Jokic. 28.5 points.
This is going to be nothing but a scoring. I think this is over too.
All right.
I think these are all. Am I wrong, chat? Tell me if I'm wrong, chat.
What do you guys think? Edwards under, says Jay. Ant-Man better than Jokic. A lot of people just saying under. We're going all Moors today, locking it in. Oh, I got to get more funds. I'll do it later. But if you guys want to play and you have the funds to do so, use promo code Cohn, COHN, to get the deposit match up to $500. Okay. Back to football.
Love football.
McCloughan had something to say about the 3rd round pick, Dominic Puni. No one really knows what the Niners' vision is for him because they were vague and they said he could play all 5 positions. Thanks. That doesn't help. McCloughan says, yeah, he'll start off inside, but he says there's no reason he can't play left tackle. That's rich. But if there's no reason he can't play left tackle, then there's really no reason he can't play right tackle, especially when the starter is big Colt McKivitz. Are you buying or selling the idea that Puni could possibly replace Trent Williams or Colt McKivitz at some point?
I want to buy it, but that's a hard sell. I don't see, especially this year. Well, first of all, Puni came out and said that the Niners talked to him and they're going to move him inside. So
you're talking more about center than tackle.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, would I prefer him to stay at his natural position when he's played? Yes. Why not? But I mean, I think that I just don't see the Niners putting him out there at tackle. I just don't. Not this year. I think they're going to move him inside. I think he's probably going to be at right guard, get some time there, and probably like center. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they want to beef up the interior. I do like this pick because I see a lot from Puni, but I just don't see them playing him tackle. Do you see that? I mean, you've been following this team look at what they did with some of the people that they brought in recently, and they moved them from their natural position to tackle, try to throw them at guard. I mean, Burford, by the way, everyone's giving Burford a lot of shit for the Super Bowl. Excuse my English. But, he had a pretty good block on the touchdown pass from Jennings to CMC. And I don't know if CMC would have got that touchdown or even if the pass would have been caught, but for Burford's block. But anyway, Burford was a tackle. I thought they would try him at tackle. I didn't see, mini camp and training camp, but from all the reports that I read, they immediately kind of moved him inside to guard. I could see them doing the same thing with Puni.
I just think it's interesting. He played left tackle and right tackle in college. And the Niners are like, let's see him at center. Okay. Well, when that doesn't work out, why don't you give him a look at tackle again? Because you're currently starting the worst right tackle in football. It's possible Puni might be better than him. Could be possible.
But I think the problem is Kyle Levy has been on a record saying he likes McGivett, and he's going to dig in. He's going to be like, no, it's going to be McGivett.
What do you like? What do you like about him? You always run to the left, and when it's time to pass, you got 8 people helping Colton McKivitz do his job. What do you like about him? He's cheap. Pony's cheaper.
Yeah, I just don't get it. There's got to be something about scheme that I just don't see, and the rest of us don't see. But yeah, McGivett gave up the most pressures and sacks. So why not try to immediately upgrade things? Why not?
They're not gonna know what to do at right tackle. They might just have to throw Puni in there out of desperation, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's an upgrade. Like, I don't think Jalen Moore is going to be an upgrade over Colton McKivitz at right tackle, but I do think Puni could be an upgrade, even though his best position probably would be guard.
I would like to see this. Is why I'm looking forward to the rookie camp and all the reports, because I want to see where they play put these draftees at, where they give them that PT at, give them that initial training at and tutelage. Because I think you're right. I'd like to see players play with why did you draft this guy who you scouted and he played tackle? And then you immediately say, now I get it. All the metrics say arm length, speed. Oh, he'll make a height, make a better guard. But if he's natural at a position that he's played his whole career and probably in high school, maybe, then it'd be, I think, easier to work him up to play that same position. At least try him there, I really like Jordan Morgan. He ended up going a lot higher than people thought. Everyone said, well, he's going to play guard. Well, but he's played so phenomenal at tackle. Give him a shot. Yeah. So I think Puni's the same way.
Yeah, and I think the thing with like the fit, it seems clear Puni did it in college. He put it on film. He can make all the blocks in the run game from the offensive tackle position. Like, I actually think if you put him at right tackle right now instead of Colton McKivitz, the run game improves because they don't run the ball to the right well. The question is, can he hold his own in pass protection? Well, McKivitz can't either. So I don't see how they could get worse with Puni at right tackle, although I haven't seen him play the position in person yet. His arms are like not even a half inch shorter than McKivitz. They run the same 40. He's quicker across the board. Maybe he's not as strong as McKivitz. McKivitz is older, but I don't think McKivitz going to be able to hold him off long.
Well, given
They
how
seem like they wanted to take a guy, play him at guard, and then potentially move him out to tackle later. Although I don't know why they're talking about center, man. That's just not going to work. I'm sorry. What? A backup? Maybe it's a backup emergency third string center. Fine, maybe, but not as a starter.
Well, look, I got to give the Niners some credit. They've made it to the Super Bowl with this offensive line. They made it to the Super Bowl previously with similar, similar pieces. But I would have loved to have seen them make an effort to upgrade that right tackle position. And you know what? I'll give them credit if maybe Puni is that answer, Grant. Maybe he is that answer in 2025. Maybe. Or maybe someone else. But at least they didn't just ignore the offensive line completely in this draft. So, I mean, I like this Puni pick too. I mean, as I said before, these next 3 picks and the next one after them, I think are our best picks of this draft.
Okay, then finally, McCloughan, Scott McCloughan didn't like Isaac Guerendo trading up for the running back. He said he had a good season last year, but he's nothing special. And when reminded that he ran a 4.33, he said, yeah, that was in shorts. He also said, if he doesn't make an impact on special teams, returning kicks, he will not make the team. It does seem like he could be the kick returner. He did some of that in college. They need a kick returner now that the rules have changed, but that's pretty much as bad of a review as you could get.
Yeah, and let me clarify something. I keep saying those 3 picks. I forgot Guerendo went before Mustafa. This is the one pick I just didn't understand. I was very confused by this pick. And the reason is, first, I don't see Guerendo getting many snaps, if any, on offense. Because what are you going to do? You're going to take snaps from CMC. You're going to trade Mitchell, who Kylie was so in love with Mitchell, profusely in love with him. And
There's
then
no
we've
way
got Jordan Mason. Right, exactly. And then plus, you got to learn how to block in Kyle's scheme in the NFL, right? So that's a big thing for Kyle, especially when the ball's not in your hands with running backs. I think he said that. So my concern is, why did you take Guerendo here? I think he would have been there later in the rounds, and I just don't think that was a need. I would have loved to have seen us address tight end. But yeah, this is the pick. I forgot that he went before Mustafa. This is the pick that I just said, why? And, I thought he had the speed like Mostert, which would be good to have. But again, maybe this is a pick for the future, 2025. Maybe this is a pick for this year's special teams, but you already got Collins for that. So this is a head scratcher to me.
I mean, it's a classic Kyle Shanahan pick. And I think people, former GMs, personnel, people almost laugh at it like, okay, well, I wouldn't have done that, but Kyle did it. It's kind of funny because I thought his pick was Pearsall in round 1. Like, all right, man, we'll let you reach for the wide receiver that you think reminds you of yourself in round 1, but that's it, right? We're done. And he's like, nah. This running back over here that no one else likes, I love him. Why?
Well, it's his speed. Come on. He ran a 4.33. So we know that's the speed. He bench pressed 17.
Who else was fast? Joe Williams. Hella fast.
Okay. All right. But he had injury issues.
Yeah, he had heart issues.
And by the way, so did Guerendo.
Yeah, it's true.
That's where you were going.
He compared Guerendo to Elijah Mitchell. Said he runs like Mitchell. Well, does that mean he's going to be hurt all the time like Mitchell? It's not great.
No, that's definitely not great. And let's look at his year seasons at Wisconsin. All right, he was redshirt his first year. Okay, his true first year, he missed the first 8 games, hamstring. Next season, he missed 6 games, hamstring. Next season, missed the final 9 games, left foot. So, I mean, you got all that speed, but you can't stay on the field. Now, I mean, then he had one season where he had 64 carries, played 12 games, but didn't start any. And I'm looking at he didn't start any games except for one at Louisville, and that was in the bowl game.
He started one game in college.
One game. So, yeah, I looked at this one, was kind of like, all right, this is interesting, and I think you're right. This was definitely a Kyle Levy pick, but again, I'm just going to remain cautiously optimistic that this one will work out. But yeah, this is the one pick. Like with Pearsall, I was just kind of like, whoa.
If this doesn't work out, the 49ers should pass a rule, make a new rule that Kyle Shanahan is never, ever, ever, ever allowed to trade up for a running back ever again. Never again. This is it. This is your last opportunity, man. Yeah, huh?
No.
Uh-huh.
I mean, hey, as far as it's his system and scheme. And I think the speed he saw, he liked the Mostert, and he's trying to replace that. But yeah, this guy will never play. I don't think he'll play at all in 2024. And it'd be very interesting to see if he ever gets anything more than snaps during a preseason, snaps at special teams. It'd be interesting what it looks like when he does get snaps on an offense.
Can't wait to see it. All right, let's make some predictions. 53-man roster. Who do you think is not going to make it initially? I put out a 53-man roster prediction earlier this week, so I have a list. I'm already prepared. I know exactly who's not making this team. You guys might want to listen up. But Brother Bobby, I'll give you a shot first to make your prediction.
All right. I see on this team. You mean, are we doing the draftees? Is that what you're talking about? We're going to focus on
just anyone that's currently
right
on the team that you think is going to be a surprise cut, or maybe not so much of a surprise cut.
Okay. I'm looking at Brandon Allen. I don't think he makes this team. I want to, well, at least I want to see Mordecai given a shot. And if he can produce, then why have Brandon Allen on this team? I think if Brandon Allen comes in, he is not going to lead us to a Super Bowl. He is not going to win many games, if any games. Now, maybe he could be there to tutor Brock, but you got Dobbs there to do that. So I think he should be cut. Not a high, huge take, but yeah.
I agree he should be cut. I have a prediction, though. He won't be cut. And in 7 years, maybe 5, he will be the 49ers quarterback coach.
Okay.
That's why he's on this team. Because Kyle Shanahan is grooming the next Brian Greasy replacement. Lock it in. Going to be a coach for this team. And I'm surprised that Ross Dwelley isn't a coach yet. I always assumed that was part of the deal with Ross, that he was going to be.
Ross is not on the team right now, right?
Exactly. Like, when are you going to be a coach for this team? I'm pretty sure that's the future for you. So maybe next year.
Maybe next year. All right. Okay, you go next.
Cameron Latu.
I knew it.
Not making this team. It'll be Kittle, Eric Sobert, and Braden Willis, and that'll be that at tight end. He'll have every opportunity to make the team, but no, not Latu.
I'm actually going to push back on that one. And the only reason I'm going to push back on that one is, I actually mock drafted him, and not in the 3rd round, but he has the tools. I think he needs to be tutored right. I don't know if the Niners coaches are down for that, and he's had a whole offseason, or practically a whole season and offseason, to get his ass in gear. So hopefully he's been doing that because I like some things that I saw in college, and the fact that in college he didn't start off being a tight end. So I would like to see him given a shot, especially for the future of this team. But if he comes out looking like he did before, not able to focus, not able to catch the balls, then yeah, get him out of here. Now, I do like, and I think there's going to be a change at linebacker. Flanagan Flowers. I think he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
I don't know, a special teams guy, but I really think that I like what I saw. I watched the film of Tatum, and he looks good on tape. He looks like he sticks his nose in there. He actually does look like a mini Greenlaw, and I'd rather see him as well as Graham get more PT. Now, Winters, I was very surprised. I thought he was very fast and to the ball, had a nose for the ball, but he seemed to just fell out of favor. So I'm worried about him making it. I think he's on a bubble. So I think Flanagan Fowles and Winters probably out. I hope I'm wrong about Winters because I like what I saw.
I have Bethune getting cut just because he was a late pick. I think he'll go on the practice squad. And I think Flanagan Fowles is like more than $1 million in guaranteed money. So maybe, I mean, they did cut, what's his face? Sudfeld, who had guaranteed money. So that doesn't necessarily mean he'll make the team. Danny Gray's not going to make the team.
Yeah, I think that's a foregone conclusion.
He's out.
He's out of here.
Goodbye. Sorry. Third round pick.
But look, they gave him 2 years.
I believe one.
Yeah.
Maybe one.
They gave him 2 years, though.
Yep.
So I think they'll give like 2 years.
Okay. Possible, although Gray did a whole lot of nothing last year. He was just hanging out on IR with Latu, pretty much the two of them, playing dominoes, who knows. But yeah, he's not making the team. When they drafted Jacob Coward, that was that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Was Gray active in the locker room, though, when you saw him interacting with the players?
No. He was on IR. He was like barely in the locker room. Really, when you're hurt, you're not in there. You're in other places getting treatment, you're not really part of the team. And it felt like he probably could have come back. I think that with lots, it's like, I think the Niners are like, you know what?
Need a red shirt.
Call up Willie Snead. Sorry. He's mad.
Man, that's very interesting with Snead and now Ray said. But that's Kyle. See, that's just Kyle Levy. Once he's set up in his mind, here's his pecking order, especially at receiver, the position that he did not play in the NFL. That's what he's going with.
Yeah. All right. We got more. Who you got?
All right. I think it's on you next. No, you did call out.
I went Gray.
Gray. All right. Here's another one, I think. Givens. I think, is it time for Givens to go? I like him. But I could see Givens not making it. I mean, shouldn't we get younger and shouldn't we get more blood in here? He's not able to beat out anyone. You think he's going to be starting at all? You think he's going to be a primary backup?
I do. I think it'll be a primary backup. If it ain't him, it could be Kalia Davis. That's who I was picking between. And I think Kalia will get cut. I think Givens is better than, he's a 285-pound defensive tackle. So that's kind of tough. He's not Aaron Donald, but he's been here for a while. He's kind of the Ross Dwelley of the defense.
Well,
just when Givens is done, he's back on the field.
Just like Dante Johnson.
I got another guy who's definitely for sure not making the team. For sure not making the team. Nick Zakelj. I'm not sure why he was on the team to begin with.
There you go.
He was here for 2 years. He never came close to playing. Did he come close? He was Brock Purdy's emotional support roommate. I don't know, but Purdy's married and Zakel's out. Derek Kingston's taking your spot.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, he barely played, and when he did play in preseason, didn't really look that good. So, yeah, I think should be an obvious cut, but you never know with the Niners. You never know. I am interested to see what Patterson can do, though.
Yeah. My final guy, Sam Womack.
Ooh, okay. It's funny.
I know everyone likes him, but I just don't think they do. I think he was an Adam Peters pick. I don't think the coaches like him. I think he's out.
And you know what supports that? Who was on the field? I don't remember seeing Womack on the field during the Super Bowl.
Luter was on the freaking field.
Luter was on the field.
Luter.
Right?
Yeah. So I don't know about Womack. Yeah.
And it's interesting because when he started off his first year, had so much promise, at least in the preseason. I think he had a couple picks, and then he came in a couple times. He got burnt during the season, but I mean, I don't know. I could see that happening only because of Luter, the pecking order they had last year. Luter was off the bench first when it came down to those two. But I mean, like, That'll be an interesting battle to watch. Definitely interesting battle to watch in minicamp and training camp.
Yep. Okay, let's get off football for a little bit. We got to talk about it. Kendrick versus Drake. It's just taken over. Everyone's talking about it, so let's talk about it. How do you feel about it?
Man, okay. Drake, I mean, listen, Drake. I'm not huge into it. I have heard him. I'm not huge into it because, see, I grew up with the Biggie and Pac years, and I hated hearing all this. But, man, Drake got smoked by Kendrick, like, pretty bad. And Kendrick released 2 right away. And, I mean, he was, going pretty personal and hard, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that, Meet the Grounds or whatever. That was tough, man. Like, how do you listen to? I mean, he went on to his mom, his father, his kid. Like, that was just like, damn, bro, stop. Like, okay, stop. Then you're gonna come back and say, no, I got one more. Hold on. Like, that was like, man, like, what Drake just do like J. Cole did. Like, I'm just joking, dog. We good, man.
Too late.
L's.
Nah, man. Look, this is how I feel. I feel like it's way overdue. I can't believe it took this long for someone of Kendrick Lamar's stature to take down Drake. Like, we grew up in you're older than me, but we were alive in the 90s, and Drake never would have gotten this far in the 90s. Tupac wouldn't have let it happen.
Yeah.
There were gatekeepers in the industry that wouldn't let a Canadian half Jewish man who has some groomer tendencies. Sorry. I mean, everything about him is just not rap. Allegedly. Everything about him is so not the rap that we grew up with. And it's nice to see someone take him down and call it out. It's like, I feel like I've been taking crazy pills since college. He's been big since 2009. I was in college, still famous. Enough of this guy with his nasally voice and his sing-songy flow, his overly wordy delivery. He's lame.
All right,
Never
I'm not a big
Kendrick. I think he's overrated. Everyone talks like he's like Andre 3000. Like, no. He'll come out with an album and everyone will be like, this is great. No, it has like one good song on it. And the song is great. I love the one good song. But this is great.
Yeah.
This is a service to the entire hip hop community. Thank you, Kendrick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone's so happy. It's like it's overdue.
I do think Drake is so overrated. I don't really like you said, I don't like his flow. I don't, but here's the thing.
It's
What's
music
funny
for
is that
girls.
no one
I'm
else.
sorry.
What'd you say?
It's music for girls. I'm sorry. But any guy who actually goes into his car and puts on Drake by himself is confused. Who are you trying to impress right now?
I got a friend. Side note here. He's an Eagles fan, so that tells you a lot right there.
Okay.
I can't tell you his name, but he gets in his car and in his home. His wife told me this is true, and he plays Taylor Swift. So I wonder about him too. But anyway,
that's funny. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Drake, like all of them is like, that's for girls, man. And that's fine. But if you're playing that, it's like you really, really want these girls to like you, don't you? Really? Yeah. You the sensitive guy, aren't you? Okay, that's fine. That's cool.
Emotional.
Kendrick's the other one. Kendrick is like, I don't like rap fans like, this is real hip hop, man. You gotta listen. You gotta really listen. You gotta listen to it 8 times. Like, no. That's so pretentious. That's like dad rock. What I like about rap is that it's supposed to be fun. And Kendrick sometimes isn't, but this is a lot of fun what he's doing. I gotta say, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying
the back and forth. It's just, and then but I think a lot of it, look how everyone's rattled and like riled up for it, So me being the guy who loves instigation, this is great to me. But, honestly though, I was wondering why some of the older rappers in the game haven't come out and said anything about Drake. So maybe they don't want to hit on people. Hey, he's making his money, he's doing his thing, cool, but like Mac Dre, Ice Cube. Ice Cube is very, commercial on himself. But like a lot of these old school rappers, like this is what you like. And yeah, so Kendrick, at least he came out and said, you know what? This guy.
Well, I think people have tried it before. Pusha T tried it, but if everyone looked at it as like, well, you're not as big as Drake. You're just jealous of Drake. Can't say that about Kendrick. Kendrick's like, what? That he won like the Pulitzer Prize. He's won every award. Everyone pretty much agrees that he's lyrically great, whatever that means. He's like the heir apparent to Andre 3000 or whoever the greatest lyrical rapper is ever. And that's just not who you want to pick a battle with. You're going to lose. Everyone's going to agree the other guy's going to win.
You keep saying Andre 3000. He was good when he was Andre 3000. That last album, whatever that was.
I didn't listen to that. Man. That wasn't a rap album. It was like ambient noises.
It's like
Andre 3000. So him and Kendrick are like the two most pretentious rappers of all time. I was always a Big Boy guy. I'm sorry, like Andre 3000 is so great, but then he'd be talking to you about how like you shouldn't wear Nikes and stuff. It's like, man, shut up. Shut up. I'm wearing Nikes, right. All right? I'm wearing them. Okay, one last thing. You watched the fight last night.
What'd you say? What I think about the fight last night? Yes, and it was
Canelo.
Good.
What'd you think?
Yeah. It was, man, it seemed like it was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was good. Man, my wife and I actually watched it, and you didn't like it?
No, I loved it. I loved the fight. I really enjoyed it. You go. I was just thinking about what I was going to say, but I'm listening.
No, I like seeing when they actually go at each other, when they actually standing toe to toe, trying to each other up. And that's what I saw about that. And I mean, I was just like on the edge, like, oh my God. Yeah, they was getting into it.
They were both really good. I'd never seen Munguia fight before. He was younger. He had so much energy. He had never fought anyone like Canelo. I've seen Canelo fight before. Canelo's really a lot of fun to watch. And the way I saw it, I was watching my pops, and it looked to me, like to us, that Canelo gave away the first 3 rounds. He was not doing much the first 3 rounds. He was learning his opponent. And by about round 4, he'd figured him out. And he was the one controlling the fight with the jab. He was hurting Munguia with the jab. And it seemed like what Munguia would do was throw like a 4 or 5 punch combination, just unload everything he had, miss all the punches. Canelo would just kind of like wear him, slip him, and then throw 2 shots. Boom, boom, left hook, that just landed and looked like it hurt really bad. And it's it was a pleasure to watch Canelo. Now, either he got tired at the end or he just, it looked like he's 33 and got a little tired at the end. He maybe reached to the end, but he's a pleasure to watch. That was cool. Munguia never seen anything like that before.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to change the subject, but it reminded me of, you see Deebo with Haney.
He was talking shit to Haney. Like, you just weigh 130. First of all, he would knock you out. And second of all, you're not going to say that to Canelo.
To his face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, man.
Canelo hits so hard. He looks like he wants to kill the other person. He keeps making these faces. I'm like, God. It's his big freaking head, his big freaking neck. Like, he's built to get punched in the face. And just.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. No, neither am I. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I run my mouth, so sometimes you just got to go and defend yourself when you run your mouth. But yeah, no, it was a good fight.
Not if you do it online. Boom, boom.
I'll do it in person too. But anyway, let's not go there. Man, so all right, when are you said rookie camp's coming up this week?
Yep.
Okay. And you're gonna be there for all the days?
Hell yeah. I think it's just one day, if I remember correctly. I feel like this week will be one day. I think it's Thursday. They haven't announced it yet. Rookie mini camp. And then next week they'll do 3 days of OTAs and the media can go to one of them. And it'll be a few weeks of OTAs. And then finally there'll be mini camp, which is, I want to say like 4 or 5 weeks from now. And that'll be, usually it's 3 days and they canceled the last one. So 2 days back to back, and then 5 weeks off. So that's where we're at the next 3 months.
So I'm looking forward to it, man. We need those reports. And I'm really, if you have time, I know you think, so Brock can't be there for the rookie, can't be on the field, but you think he'll be there in the building?
Brock? Yeah. He's trying to become the leader of the team and show that he's worthy of the mega contract extension. And that involves being the first one in, the last one out until he signs the contract. And then who knows?
No, because all right, look, I don't see Brock changing. And maybe I'm wrong. You know, you get guaranteed money, but I don't see him. Yeah, I don't see him changing.
24. How much different are you than when you were 24?
Oh, okay, yeah, and I know I wasn't given like hundreds of million guaranteed, but
I
my
know he's
point is
grounded.
simply this. Yes, he's grounded.
He's got
He's
Jesus.
got a yes.
That's
I mean,
big. I'm saying he's got his wife. He's got his family. I don't think he's going to be making it rain. I don't think we're going to see him make it rain.
right.
But
So I don't. But go ahead.
But does he have an ego? Everyone does.
Well, I hope he does. I mean,
He
look,
does. And I think you have to mute it a little bit when you're 24 and you haven't gotten that extension. But when you're 26 and you're making 3 times what the head coach makes, and he tries to throw you under the bus, ooh, what's that going to look like? I can't wait.
I don't. You know what though? I don't think it's in Purdy
to flex,
do something. Huh?
To flex. It's in
He'll
all of
flex
them.
on the field. He'll flex on the field. Yes, and, but I don't think right away he gets that money. I don't think. I mean, he's just. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want to see him take this team.
I don't even say it's a bad thing. Like, I think he's going to become more of what he already is, which is very assertive. And at a certain point, it's not that he's going to be a malcontent, but if Kyle is rude to him at a certain point, there's only so much you can take. Right now, you got to take it. You haven't gotten your extension yet. But when you're making $60 million a year or close to it, and Kyle says some crap to you like you're still 24, I'd like to know what he has to say back privately.
But hold on now. But hold on. Jimmy took it for a while too. And he was older, making a ton of money.
Jimmy seemed avoidant. Let's use therapy terminology. Jimmy seemed avoidant. I don't like this guy. I'm not going to answer his phone calls. I'm not going to be around the facility in the off season. And when a play doesn't work out, I'll do something passive aggressive, like make a comment on the field that the cameras can pick up. But I'm not going to actually butt heads with this guy. That's not Brock.
Okay.
That's so
I don't think
Brock.
that was okay. Yes, but I don't think that was passive aggressive. What the cameras or mics caught. I think he was pissed and he had enough, and he said, "Your plays suck." Right?
But I think if Brock were in that situation and he were 28, 29, 30, and that's how he felt, he'd go up to Kyle and say it to his face. Maybe not.
Right, but that's when he's a little older.
Shut up for someone.
Yes, but notice how he did it. It was very chill, but it was very to the point. Hey, man,
he was 22.
Right.
Now he's what's he going to be like? Oh, I can't wait, brother Bob.
I can't wait either, but I don't think it'll be right away.
His villain story is coming up. He's going to make the heel turn all of a sudden. He's going to be the corporate.
Well, I would love to see him get that. He has the dog in him. That's clear. You can see that on the field. But
he's too
I don't
nice.
think he'll. What'd you say?
He's too nice. His persona on the field, he's great. His persona, too nice.
But I think the face of Corn.
When you're the face of Corn, you're officially too nice. You need an edge. And I don't know what that edge is. Maybe it would be a black shirt and a gold chain. I think he needs a gold chain.
I do like the gold chain. But listen. There's nothing wrong with him making money with corns or tractors. Nothing wrong with that in Toyota. Nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nah.
Make your money.
I like Corn.
But yeah. But I think another thing is there's a lot of older vets on this team that maybe once they're gone, then it's a lot easier for him to really be more vocal. But I don't know if I ever see him like the first year or two of this extension, like really just saying, you know what, F you, Kyle. I don't see that. Nor do I want that. But I know, of course, you. This guy does.
I will get a Brock Purdy jersey the day that happens. Can't wait. Can I tell you about something awful that happened to me yesterday? Okay. So my neighbors across the street invited me over because they were doing like a little dinner party, and someone there was a big Niner fan and had heard of me. So I came over to introduce myself, and we were hanging out, and the neighbor across the street, the lady, said I look like Kyle Shanahan with my haircut. That hurt. Like I'm trying to look like Kyle. It really hurt.
She must not really know you, huh?
Well, you kind of look like Kyle Shanahan. Like, damn it.
Or maybe she was just.
Well, thanks for ruining my day.
Right.
He's a good-looking guy, though. He's a handsome man. That's the one thing you can't say about Kyle. He's tall.
Listen, I don't even go there. No comment. I don't know what makes a handsome man handsome. Okay. I just know my wife is all I look at. Because just in case my wife hears this, though, baby, I don't look at any other woman ever.
Yeah.
But
Kyle, I don't actually think you're handsome. Okay. I'm just keeping it professional. Matt
Ooh,
McCloughan,
man.
Ray and Snead talking entitlement sounds like a Deebo shot.
Okay, MMK, I think you're right. It has to be, because who else on that team, as far as the receivers, take plays off and never like get a talking down to, never been in the doghouse? Who's that guy? It's Deebo, right?
It is. Jesse Wade says, was this year's draft a result from Brock Purdy? I'm referring to the long college career as well, as a lot of games played. They have super high floors. I think that has a lot to do with it, and I think losing Adam Peters has a lot to do with it too. I think this draft was very much controlled by the coaches, and I think when you let coaches pick players, it's going to be more about what they did recently, what they can do right now,
and if they're polished.
Yep. Yaz Williams says, will Brock be throwing at minicamp? Rookie minicamp? No. It'll be, but he will be at OTAs, I would imagine. I don't think Aiyuk will be there, but that's what they got Ricky Pearsall for. Camp.
On that note, wait, hold on. Have you heard anything new about Aiyuk? The last thing I read, that they're making headway, whatever that means, and everyone seems to be happy. We haven't seen Aiyuk come out and post anything else about the Niners yet. I don't know if he followed the Niners again on IG, but everything's quiet. So I think that's fairly good, right?
I think this is probably going to play out the way Nick Bosa's did. He'll get signed like a week before the season starts.
I think that'd be dumb, though.
Yeah.
No, I think they should sign him before that. Get him,
They should have signed him
not before the week
2 months ago. Agree. Dave Barclay, right. If RP gives 100 effort, then we're better without Deebo. Yeah, I think Deebo's getting right around his sell-by date. I would have to
agree. Sure. Yes.
Matt McCloughan, they are going with the secondary to help D-line as opposed to D-line helping secondary. Change in philosophy.
Sure. Matt said that before a couple months ago. I think he said that, and I think he's right. And I'd like to see it, though, because we saw what happened. I mean, yes, Casey had a Chris Jones, but being able to stay on those receivers longer gave more time for everyone to beat McGibbon. So it's perfect, right? And Brendo, too.
Yeah. And also, like, the big trend in the NFL these days is simulated pressure, which is sort of showing blitz, but then only bringing 4, but you don't know which 4 it's going to be. And the Niners really haven't done that. They're late to the party on that one. They've been very much, here's our 4 rushers, 4 D linemen. They're rushing straight at you. That's not the trend in the NFL anymore. So if that's what's working, simulated pressure, you don't need to have 4 defensive linemen making $20-25 million a year. You can scheme it up. What you can't scheme up is guys who can cover man to man. That's either something you can do or you can't.
That's skill.
Salute, Brother Bob.
Says, that's right, cuz my guy.
Yeah. Matt McCloughan says, whatever position Puni didn't play in college is what Kyle Shanahan will play him as. Center and right guard. Honestly, he played left tackle, left guard, right tackle. Those are the 3 positions he probably won't play first. Crazy. Fish and Chips says, Brother Bob, you got out of the doghouse. Which Niner in the pound next?
Yeah, I got out the doghouse. It's good. Thank you, Fish and Chips.
It's going to be Ricky Pearsall immediately. Slick like Ninja 247 says, what happened to Niners after dark this week? Jesse had some stuff to do. We'll be back next week. It's the off season. Me and Jesse are beefing. We're about to start releasing diss tracks.
I want to see that.
Wait for it. Now we're seeing how successful that is, and we're just all the content creators are going to be dissing each other. It's going to be crazy. Fish and Chips.
Go ham on TP.
Yeah. That you just need the green light. Stop Juice at wide receiver. It's 10 men when he's out there. Juice. Yeah, I think that the Juice era is also coming to an end. Dave Barclay, maybe dumb question. Can we get a tight end before the season? Why would they have Cam Latu? What do you mean? What? He's fine.
Okay. I was really surprised we didn't even draft one. Like I thought we would at least take a flyer on one. That's what makes me think like they're happy. Maybe they see something Latu that we just didn't see. Right?
Can't wait. We'll see. He was so bad. He was alarmingly bad in training camp.
Yeah, I think it was just too big for him at the moment. At least that's what I'm hoping. And I want to see a big turnaround.
The ball? Yeah, the ball was too big for him. It just kept clanking off his hands. I'm sorry, Cameron. I'm sorry.
It's the NFL. He wasn't ready for the NFL.
But, Matt McCloughan says we should sign Robert Tonyan for tight end too.
See, that's what I mean. Why are we not addressing? I don't think we've actually
Logan Thomas.
We got it. Yes, but we have to be able to look. What happens if Kittle gets hurt? Last year, we were pretty damn lucky. There was like really no major injuries.
Yeah,
I know exactly.
So,
but he wasn't. Yeah. At least he was on the field, right?
Yep.
And how many weeks did he miss in the beginning of the season? I think he missed a couple of weeks, right? His usual. But I mean, for the most part, everyone made it through the season. So I'm concerned that, and I don't think Eric Schobert, or however you pronounce his last name, is the answer. Really funny how we tried to get the guy from Notre Dame and play with the Lions, and didn't make a good enough effort to get him. So to me, it seems like tight end is a concern for the Niners. They just didn't address it.
Dave Barkley says Drake isn't hard. He acts it. He ain't it. My favorite. Hold on. So Matt McCloughan says I hate everyone talking about these two. Who cares? Okay, sure. I agree. But I do think it's funny how happy everyone is that Kendrick's doing this. I feel like the whole country is just tired of Drake and no one could say it. And now everyone's like, yeah, say it, Kendrick. Yeah. Yeah. He is kind of annoying. It's about time. Matt McCloughan.
Hey, Matt, I agree with you on that. Go
Hope
ahead.
PP struggles on a pickle. Sorry, JK, LOL. Hating.
My God.
Hating on his sponsors. All right. That's the show. Hour 15. It was a good one. In the off season, we made the most out of that. Brother Bob, great stuff. Thank you.
Hey, man. Appreciate the time. Thanks. And to the chat, love you all. Go Niners.
I'll be back tomorrow.